One, two. Good.
Always have good energy.
Hey, we back, y'all. Episode 10, Talking Big Uglies. I'm your host, Coach Sid, and you have co-host Coach Bernard, and it seems like every week special guest Coach KB. Uh, on this is we would say episode 10. Hey, hit that like and subscribe button, man, and so we can get this thing rolling. Shout out to Tone Drone Productions, our sponsor for kind of putting this thing together. That's Miss Denise and Tom, man. This week, I know Coach KB been ranting and raving about getting this guest on. Um, the owner and operator of Trench Mob, we got Coach Cal Jr., Coach CJ, and we're gonna talk some ball with Coach, man, and kind of get to know what Coach got going on. And but when you talk about offensive line, young, great offensive line coaches in the state of Maryland, you cannot talk about Coach CJ. He was kind of born offensive line guy. Shout out to Cal Senior, his dad, who kind of like helped train Grunt when my son was younger and trained a whole host of kids in that realm of football, man, and coach little league ball. But Coach Bernard.
What's up? What's up, man? How you feel?
Good, man. Good,
How you
good.
feeling,
Coach
KB?
KB?
Hey, Coach
You hear
said,
me?
Coach Bernard, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So,
Coach.
Coach Cal, first off, Coach, like, where did you start playing at as a youngster, and where did you do your high school ball?
Well, first and foremost, man, I want to say thank you for having me on. Last time we had a show in person, it was a great time. So I'm blessed to be here again, man. Coach CJ, Coach Cal Jr., if you didn't hear him the first time. And when I started, man, I started youth ball kind of in Baltimore City at ECM Soldiers, made my way to Anne Arundel County around fourth grade, played for Brooklyn Park Broncos all the way up to eighth grade. Um, Youth ball is youth ball. My dad was my coach, so I had some good coaching in youth ball, and like a lot of players nowadays. But we'll get into that a little later. I played high school. I played high school at Mount St. Joe High School. 3-year varsity starter. Never made all conference or anything. I feel like I got a little snipe sometimes, but the past is the past. I have no regrets. I got earned a scholarship to play D2 football in Raleigh, North Carolina at St. Augustine University. I was a 3-year starter at center. My freshman year, I started at fullback because I just wanted to be on the field. After that, I graduated in 2020. I started coaching at North County High School fresh out of college. That was my first job, O-line coach at North County High School. And we wasn't the greatest, but I will say this though, it was never a game we rushed under 100 yards. So that's my goal. I love the O line I had there. We wasn't as a unit, as a whole team, we wasn't the greatest, but I had some guys there. Stepped down after 2 years, took a little break. Then Demetrius Ballard at Severn School. We got hired for the first year at Severn School about 5 years ago. Called me and said, I need you to be my O line coach. I told him, give me a week to give him a decision. I didn't give him a week. I called him the next day and said, I'm going. So I'm going into my fifth season this year at Severn School, and I'm looking forward to the future, man.
Mm. So before I was coach, what made you make that decision um, to go to seven? Because I got a lot of phone calls, man, in reference to you and you wanting to coach. I know throughout Baltimore, man, people was like, Coach said, can you reach Coach CJ? And so I was like, well, I can reach out to him you know, but what made you select seven?
There's a couple things. Like I said, Coach D is the head coach, Coach Demetrius Ballard. He's known me since I was like 9 or 10. Him and my dad are good friends. And I've been knowing him
Mm,
and the staff that I work with there, the coaching staff, most of them has known me since I was 9 or 10. So that played a part, just part of the staff we on. Secondly, Severn, even though we're in the B conference of the MIAA, we're in the MIAA. Me being a St. Joe grad, as you know, Coach said, St. Joe's in the MIAA conference. So I felt like I had a
Yep.
little tie there. In a sense, I felt like I
Yeah.
had some ties there. Coming back to the
Right.
MIAA, even though it wasn't the A conference, we started off in the C, was back-to-back C conference champs. Then we got moved to the B. So we were in the B. This is our third year in the B right now. But it just felt like I wanted to do something that I wanted to go on a mission. I don't know. It's just a mission. Um, Me growing up in Anne Arundel County already, I played for Brooklyn Park. At the time when I got hired at Severn, I was coaching at Brooklyn Park youth program, and then I moved to the Old Mill Patriots youth program, so it made me closer to Severn. So I just wanted to stay in Anne Arundel County. Um, and that's pretty much how it took me there, man. And I trusted what Coach Demetrius Ballard was doing. He trusted me as an O-line coach. At Severn School, it is a culture shock, though. We're in Severn Park. A lot of those families own yachts and they on the water, and I'm not used to that. So my coaching philosophy, not the philosophy, but the approach, had to change a little bit because it was a culture shock. My first year was a little rough. Had some run-ins with the AD. Just off of because I push everybody the same. Nobody got no cut cards back then. And then I had to change. Everybody can't be coached the same now, and everybody had to be talked to differently, and so forth and so on. But I've grown, I've matured. Like I'm going to my fifth season, and they don't want to lose me. So um, that's how I kind of got into the Severn School. And everybody hit me up like, "You don't want to move. You don't want to move." At the end of the day, I do want a football school, but at this very moment is a good fit for me right now. Who knows? This may be my final season. It may not. Who knows? But until then, till that whistle blow, that final horn blow, I'm gonna keep coaching my ass off for these boys, and we gonna win a B conference championship before I leave there.
Awesome. That's awesome. Awesome, Coach. Well, like Coach said, I appreciate you for coming on, Coach CJ, again. And I was raving to Coach said about you. Just number one, just knowing you and seeing you as a player and seeing you develop as a college player and now as a coach. You are one of the guys I would love to play by. So that's why I rave about you, Coach. And so tell me about Trench Mob. Tell me about the lineman organization that your dad kind of started. Just tell me like when it was established. Tell me about Trench Mob.
So Trench Mob LRP, Trench Mob Lineman Readiness Program. My dad had formed it. Man, I had to be in like middle school maybe. And this was at the time my dad, he wasn't really, my dad was never in it for the money or nothing. He was just training kids, bringing kids to training kids. And he came up with the name Trench Mob. We in the trenches. We don't care about 7 on 7. Like Coach says no ballerinas. We're not doing no ballerina talk. Um, we just straight church work. And it kind of grew because my dad, he coached in the Anne Arundel County. He's known in the county and the state for the coaching line. He just grew. People wanted him to work with his linemen, and every session he was having, I was there training, getting it working too. Um, when I got to college, my goal, I was a criminal justice major, and I graduated during COVID. And a lot of internships I had lined up at the time got faded and canceled out because of COVID. Um, so after that, I made a decision. I think I want to coach and train because I know I can do that. I know I can be good at that. I know I can be great. So when I got the North County job, before I started coaching at North County physically, I started just taking over trench mob training because after I graduated college, my dad was he retired from coaching, stepped back. He wanted to take care of my Dukes at the house, and which is 100% lovely. So in order to try to make him proud of me and even though he already is proud, try to make him more proud, make my mom's proud. Proud. I want to take over I call it the family business because it started in the house. I want to take over the family business. So now I just don't do O line. I transition to O line and D line training for Trench Mob. Um, and I go by the same for my Trench Mob business. Confidence breeds physicality. What I mean is a guy can be a great athlete, physical, weight room strong, but if he has no idea what he's doing on that field, he cannot play at 125 miles per hour. I'm not only teaching you about the game, I'm teaching you the technique, the ins and outs. and we're going to be able to know what we're doing on the field so we can move 100 miles per hour. My dad always says, I have the keys right now to take this to the next level. And I kind of been working hard to do that. I've been hosting my own 5v5 lineman events every off season for the last 3 summers, major
Yes.
training sessions, 5v5 events in the States. I mean, I was in Delaware like 2 months ago having an event. I had an event at Riverdale Baptist 2 months ago that was huge. We had a middle school side and we had a high school side. Straight Bass Pro one-on-ones. We don't want no ballerina work, just straight. And you can't talk trash without backing it up in that 5v5 pass pro work. And 7-on-7 as a DB, I can say something to you and I can hide in cover 2 and cover 3 coverage all day and drop back. But at 5v5, you a right guard and you a 3 technique, and you say something to me, you gotta see me that next rep. You might get punched. Yeah, it's just simple as that. And this I take pride in O line and D line play because trench work is an art. Like I said before, last time we was with it, it's like smooth jazz. It is an art, and I love the art. And I love the artists of it. And I love painting a picture. I love seeing guys paint their picture, and I love seeing young athletes realize how good they can be after knowing their true potential. And I get more I feel more motivated just doing that. People ask me all the time, do you want to go to college level? Yeah and no. It's a lot of stipulations that come with the college level. I like being the guy to develop you for your college coach. So when you go there, you be like, who was your high school O-line coach? Well, that was Coach CJ. He had me for 4 years and we've been working nonstop. That's the best feeling to me. I don't need no checks. I don't need no awards. I don't need nothing. I just want to know my players are in the great hands, whether it's D3, D2, D1, JUCO, prep, NAIA, whatever. My goal is to get them further than what I did.
Mm.
Awesome, awesome,
Coach
Coach.
Bernard.
I love to hear it. And if I could follow up with one thing, one thing you said about the trench mob, you said confidence breeds physicality. So
Yes, sir.
being a young lineman that developed over the years, under your dad's tutelage and having the opportunity to learn under your dad and how he ran the business, and now having an opportunity to kind of give your version of the trench mob and developing offensive lineman and defensive lineman. So over that transition, what would you say is like the signature mark, the signature thing about trench mob or trench mob kid, or any of that progression or development alignment over the years that you've seen?
So I'm gonna start personally for me. Trench mob to me is more than a business and family. So when we in huddles and we break down 1, 2, 3 trench mob, we not just saying to say it. If you're not gonna say it all the way, you can get out my huddle. It's a family. I use that for my O line at Severn School. I use it for my youth team. I use it for guys I train at other teams. Trench mob is trench mob. It's not just me. It's all of us. Even us in this call right now, it's all of us. We're a trench mob. You know. I've been learning from guys like my dad all my life, and I've been growing up around Coach Said and Coach KB. I've been around you a lot a while, and I've had the blessing of being around good O line coaches. The legacy that was left for me has something I have to look up to. I have big shoes to fill, and I'm just trying to do my best in doing that. And when a player, for example, I got this one player named Ryan Dunn, right? I think personally he's one of the best O linemen in the state. He's undersized. But he reminds me so much of myself. He's currently in fall camp right now as a true freshman at Albright College, D3. He sent me some clips the other day when he was doing one-on-ones. He went against all upperclassmen and didn't lose a single battle. That is my why. That's what I grind for. That's what I want guys to be. Whether it's D3, D2, D1, I don't care. As a trench mile guy, I don't turn nobody away. Any age, you can be 2, you can be 75. It don't even matter. If you want to work and you ready to work, come see me. And for me, money is never the issue. Like I charge what I charge. Cool. But if you hit me, it's communicating. It's like, Coach, my mom's having a little trouble. My parents, they paid the bill. They can't pay for the session today. Okay, cool. Come get to work. And either pay me later if you can, or don't pay me for a session. Just get right next session. It's okay. But as long as you're ready to work, that's my payment for me. Like I said, it's all the time financially doesn't make sense, but I know my God has bigger plans for me for doing what I do. So I'm just blessed to be here. My dad. Let's answer your question more direct. How I grew up under my dad and stuff. I I'm undersized myself. Right now, as a grown man, I'm like 5'11", maybe 6 foot on a good day. Growing up in high school with St. Joe, I was 5'10", 5'9", 5'8", whatever. Um, and my dad always knew my size would be an issue. So he trained me in several aspects of the game to be very physical and very technical. When people asked about my game, my dad was like, well, he's a technician. And he's going to want to put you in the dirt every single time he gets his hands on you. And that's what I modeled my play after. And I've realized growing up that, and my dad would tell me a lot because I train guys for the last 5 years or so, and I go to these camps and guys may not perform as well as they want. I have high expectations for them, and my dad sometimes look at me and say, "Bro, they just you can train them as much as you want, and how hard you can train them as much as you want. And you're doing a great job, but sometimes guys are just not you." And it took me a while to understand that because everybody doesn't have the work ethic that we grew up with. I was working out 3, 4 times a day at some points. Some of these guys only do their school workouts and that's it, which is also another problem for me. Being at high school right now, you got to do more. But like I said, I don't want to get off on a tangent. But that's pretty much my why, my reason, Coach KB, and hopefully I'm making my dad proud. He tells me every time he is proud, but I really want to make him proud and take Trench Mob to the next level, wherever that may be, whether it's in the state of Maryland, all over the East Coast, or I got to move it to another state somewhere else. I want to make him proud and tell him that Trench Mob is on his own two legs.
Coach Bernard.
Hey, Coach CJ, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing,
I
man?
had
Good.
two questions. Who the best offensive lineman you ever saw? Is it the guy you just was talking about?
Training or playing
Playing.
that I
Best
played
one you
against, played with, or I trained.
it can be college, NFL, or whatever. What's
Okay.
the one you ever seen to do that? I'm not a
I
really
want to talk about
offensive
more
lineman.
recently, as my coaching years of in the last 2 years or so. I've have a handful of guys that I can name that stand out as best in the state for me right now. One of those guys was Ryan Dunn, who's currently at Albright as a true freshman in camp right now. He went to Westminster High School. Um, Another guy on that same offensive line, David Gerting, who's currently a true freshman at Shepherd right now. Left tackle. He played at Westminster as well. But closer to the Baltimore area, I've been having the pleasure of seeing some great kids come through my 5v5 events. Kids like Xavier Kennedy, the starting center at Dunbar. That kid is easily one of the best centers in the state. Easily. I, if I'm not mistaken, I think he recently just got an offer to Morgan State as well after the camp a couple months back. That kid, I don't think I've seen that kid lose more than probably 5 1-on-ones in the last 2.5 years in my events. Secondly, big fella named Jordan Hall at Milford Mill Academy in Baltimore County. And Jordan Hall, this kid, I mean, he passed the eye test immediately. This kid's like 6'4", 6'5". I don't want to overshoot him on weight, but let's say he like 315, feet like a dancer, body like a gorilla, and his hands, I call it the hands of God. When he put them palms on you, it's over. And that kid has literally won MVP or been tied for MVP at each of my 5v5 events in the last year and a half.
Mm.
Yes,
Mm.
sir.
You think one day you'll be interested in being a head coach, or you just want to stay with the line?
I one day, coach, I do want to become a head coach. But first I have to I want to move ladder like O-line coach, possibly OC next, then head coach. I really enjoy being an O-line coach because I don't have to deal with the politics. Um, I understand what my head coach at Severn School deals with a lot. I understand what a lot of head coaches deal with the politics and parents and kids coming to you about PT and all this other stuff. As the O-line coach, I ain't got to worry about it. I got my 5 plus my 2 extras. That's my backups, and I can go about my business. Parents love me, but I'm the head coach and I can't get little Jimmy in the game, well, there we have a problem. Some parents don't like that. And I don't want to deal with that. But eventually, I do want to become a head coach and carry on that legacy my pops left behind because I do have some
So let
huge
me,
shoes to fill.
let me ask you this question, Coach: Is it a big difference between the guys in the county and the guys in the city? The way they go about their approach towards the offensive line, is it a big difference? You think they work a little hard out in the county, or what you think about that?
I can't say either side works harder because I know some kid right now. So another O line coach that I vouch for in the state of Maryland, a young guy about a year younger than me. His name is Najee Brown. He is currently the O line coach at St. Francis, and I like to call him the voice of the city, in my opinion, of the O line because a young O line coaches because he trains in Baltimore City. So he comes to kids come to him. I'm more like in the county, sometime Baltimore, Anne Arundel County, but he's heavy in Baltimore City. And he's making his name. He got guys at Oregon right now and Tennessee, and he's making his name out for himself. So I've seen some guys in the Baltimore City work harder than county guys. I've seen some county guys work harder than city guys. Um, I really just think it boils down to who wants it more. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice to get this scholarship? What how many workouts do you want to do to get this scholarship to earn this play time? How many reps can you do to get this play time? That's how bad you want it. And some kids really just don't want it. Some kids don't want it, and you can't make them want it. And I'm still trying to learn that because I want kids to be 110% like me. If I'm coming out there to coach you, you got to be 110%. But some kids just don't want it. But I don't know, coach, because I can't wait for week one when Milford played Dunbar because I need to see that action in person. You know, like that's type of thing I need to see. And I don't, we're gonna see who work harder that week. You know,
Yeah, that's gonna be a
AD,
real good game there.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, Coach CJ, you talk about offensive line and your passion about offensive line play. What are three characteristics, three traits that are necessary to be great for you as an offensive line coach?
and it's not even just O line; it's D line too. And it's all physical aspects. I'm about to say three physical:
Hmm.
good
Hmm.
feet, good hips, and good hands. You can't have two without the other. You know, I always preach feet, hips, and hands. That physically makes a good lineman. But also outside the physical aspect of being a good lineman, we have to be film junkies. Um, you got to know what to study in film. A lot of guys, you turn on a huddle tape, they don't know what to look for, and I realized that a lot the last 2 years. They do not know what to look for. They like looking at. I get linemen watching film, and they watching the running back run the ball. Why? Why are we watching the running back run the ball? What are we doing here? You should be watching the box, whoever in the box, 6, 7, 8, whatever, and the guy that you're going against and your position. Simple as that. I think we gotta be film junkies. A lot of old linemen, they aren't film junkies because a lot of times to a lot of guys, old line film is boring. But at the end of the day, if you know what you're looking at, it's not. Like I said, it's an art. This is my passion. I can watch old line film all day. I literally get in back and forth debate on Instagram comments on clips about old line play. Like that's just what I do. I can talk old line play all day from morning to night. That's just what I do. And I feel like a lot of guys also don't. It's changing. A lot more guys are having the passion for it because they seen O line get paid, O lineman getting drafted the first 5 picks of the draft. They like, oh my god, I can do that too. I don't got to be a receiver. I don't got to be a running back or quarterback to get drafted top 10 to get that payday. And even if it's not a draft, there's plenty of leagues out here for guys to play in. Cross seas, Canadian, XFL, UFL, whatever. You know, but feet, hips, and hands, being a film junkie, just being a good teammate. It's not, don't be an a-hole to your coaches and your teammates. As an O-line coach, as an O-line coach, as y'all know, the O-linemen already get the short end of the stick. If something go wrong, what the O-line doing up there? What they doing? If something go good, oh, good job, quarterback and running back, O-line, get us to the sideline. You know, it's never congrats O-line. So you just got to put our head down and work. And if you're a worker and don't care about the spotlight, you're gonna be a phenomenal old lineman. Plus all the other things added to that. You know,
Well,
If
shout
I could
out
add a
to
follow up.
oh, go ahead.
It's just a short question. Coach, what was the hardest lesson you learned at Mount St. Joe High School, playing high school ball, that you now carry as coaching now? What's the hardest like lesson learned that you learned playing that you still carry today, coaching?
hardest. That's a great question, Coach. Hardest lesson I learned playing. All right, one is that you need to every spot is your spot is never given. I feel like that's a normal saying. Your spot is not given, but a lot of guys won't understand that until high school hits. Youth ball, you might be the man. I'm playing both sides, all special teams, and bop bop bop. But when you get to
Mhm.
high school, them three same guys in your same position did the exact same thing in youth ball. They was the guys, special teams, offense, defense, blah blah blah, scoring. When I played JV as a freshman, when I went up to varsity as a sophomore, I didn't start immediately. I started about week one, but that fall camp, them first 2 3 scrimmages, I was right at pine, and my dad would get me in the truck, look at me, and say, "Yo, don't worry about it. Just keep busting your ass. Just keep working. Keep working. Because at the end of the day, he looked at me and said, because you're better than that guy in front of you. You're young.
Mm.
Don't worry about it." And by a week, like 3 days before the first game of the season, our head coach Blake Henry came to me and said, "You are now starting at right guard." And that guy was in front of me, was a year older than me. He was heated. He was pissed boy. But I outworked him. And ever since my spot then getting took, my rest of my years playing, I earned my position. Another thing that I learned is every trainer you have is not in your corner. Um, One time, I ain't gonna say any names, but I had a trainer one time pretty much tell me that I wouldn't be able to play football at Mount St. Joe. Um, Coming out of middle school, I'm too short, I'm too small. That's big boy football. They in the A conference. You should look at a B conference school or something like that, or go public or blah blah blah. I didn't go to that trainer ever since that day, because I knew my mission and
Mm.
my plan that God had in my hands was bigger than that. And I don't need that. I don't need that negativity in my life. I told my pops that. My pops said, "Look, we need to find another trainer, or I can be a trainer for all I care. We just not going back to him." So that's just two things. Everybody not in your corner who you think is in your corner, and every spot is not given. You got to earn that.
Yeah. I think I know exactly who you're talking about. But
Yeah, it's
wow.
okay. We got to say no. This coach said. We got to say no names, brother.
No, we ain't gonna say no name. Shout out to your father, man, because I think the trainer that we talking about, my son was going to him too, and then I think your father kind of intercept my boy at that particular time back then, and I'm gonna just say this, right? Outside of football, like Cal Senior was like he was almost like a counselor to my son. So when my son had his issues, because he had anger issues back then, and he had them same issues that you had in reference to, you know, being too short, they say, and not being, and that kind of just made him like so aggressive, and made him so hungry. And I remember at them times, man, he would go in his room and he would sulk, and I would just call Cal Senior, man, and Cal would just call him and talk to him. And then after the conversation was over with, he was like back at himself again. I was like, God damn. And I wanted to shout him out for that, man. My son loved your father, man. He was like, your father really, whatever your father did to him or what he said to him, it really worked. And then your father trained him. I remember he was training him how to work independent hands at one time.
Come on, come
Because at
on.
one point I couldn't train him no more because you can't train your sons after a while. You know what I mean? Because they get too big for their britches. But you know what I mean. But man, it was just great, man. And my son really gained a lot from Cal Senior, man. I mean, starting as a freshman, and then going behind you playing center at Mount St.
St.
Joe,
Joe,
you
yes,
know,
sir.
yeah, and he talked about that a lot too. Like, Dad, I'm playing a position that CJ played, Dad. What I'm saying. So, but yeah, man, shout out to Cal Senior, man. Anything else you got, Coach KB,
Oh, man, if
Coach
I could
Bernard?
just add more flowers to it, Coach Kyle, man, just being a young coach coming in, right out of college. When I started coaching, thanks to you, Coach said, my first coaching opportunity. Coach Kyle was one of the first one to embrace me, allow me to coach kids. I might not have known exactly what I was saying, but he said, Coach KB, just keep at it. You got a passion for it. You got a eye for it. Just keep loving on the kid, keep working hard. And I appreciate Coach Cal to this day. I'm a trench mob forever, right? If you guys need me, you already got that, Coach.
Always.
A question that I had. So we all kind of take after our coaches, our maybe even our pops during games. What is a nervous tick or a saying that your dad says, Calvin, that you say now when you coach? What is a nervous tick, or maybe it's like something before a game, or maybe it's a same reaction to something that happens in the game. What is something that your dad say that you say too?
So I personally right now, even as a coach before games, I still get butterflies in my stomach. Like it's ridiculous. Like I'm about to suit up and play. I still get butterflies in my stomach. And I think it means it's a different butterfly as a coach because I can't go out there and play for you. Like I can prepare you as much as I can during the week and pre warm up and pre practice. But when that whistle blow, I can't play for you. That's what my dad harped on a lot. Like I can't go out there and play for you, son. If I can, if I could, I would. I'll shoot up again. That's what he would tell me. I can't play for you, son. I can't. I can't do it. So you gotta go out there and play for yourself. You don't play for nobody. Play for your team and yourself. Um, and my dad, I don't know. My dad was. He just seemed so cool, calm, collected sometimes till that fuse popped. Um, and he always had a way with words. And like Coach said, when Grunt would be upset, my dad could say something, step back into it. I've had days where I came home from school and practice, and I'm fuming, I'm heated, my face all red. I had a bad day. He's like, yo, he tell me like, yo, we got another day tomorrow, homie. Like this ain't the end of your chapter. Like we got another day tomorrow. Today is Monday. It's a Monday practice. Monday practices are always bad. You have a Tuesday tomorrow. Go earn your spot back or something like that. Like he was just a motivator for me. And game days, he always would tell me like he would say, don't I don't like yelling at a kid on game day. Like I just don't. He doesn't do it unless he literally has to. He doesn't like raising his voice at a kid on game day. Practices cool, chew him out, but a game day, he's like I don't want to chew a kid out in front of his auntie or his uncle or his grandfather, grandmother that may only come to this one game all season. I don't need to do that. So practice, I'm gonna chew you out, but game, I'm gonna talk to you, but I'm not gonna embarrass you in front of your family. I think that's a mantra I try to take now too. Game days, I'm not trying to embarrass you in front of your family. That's not the goal. We want to win games. We want everybody to be happy, safe, and uninjured. Um, I think that's one thing I took from him as well that I'm still learning. Calm down on game days. You're not playing no more, big fella. Like it ain't your scene right now. You did what you can do during the week. Let your guys shine. Trust their abilities, and that's kind of what. And it's hard for me, man. Even my fifth year in the coaching right now. Well, fifth year at Severn, 6 year coaching, 7 year coaching, whatever you want to call it. Um, I still get that tick like I want to get out there, give me some shoulder pads. I got a couple snaps left. I know I do, like I know I can get a quarter or a half in or something. Um, but I gotta trust my guys, and that's what my dad did a lot. He trusted us, like he trusted guys on the field, and my dad coached me all the way up until fifth grade. Then I had another coach for 3 years because he would have coached my brother. And then my eighth grade year, my dad came back to me and coached me, and I think that was the best thing that happened to my youth career for my eighth grade because he really prepared me for high school. And like my dad, I know I'm talking about my pops a lot, but he really he put me in positions to succeed a lot. And I always say this: there was nothing a coach could say to me, high school, college, O line coach, whatever, that could phase me because you can't phase me. I had my pops as my coach my whole life. He yelling at me in practice. I gotta go home with him. I still gotta hear it on the car ride home and in the house. So ain't nothing no coach can phase me. So I love bro. My pops like give him all he can get, man. Because without him, I don't think I'd be the man I would be today. You know.
Mm.
Awesome,
Coach
awesome, man.
Bernard, Coach
What
Bernard.
is TJ? What's the hardest thing about coaching the O line? Though, what would you say the hardest thing about doing it? I know after a while it becomes easier, but what would you say the hardest part about coaching the O line?
I think the hardest thing about coaching O line is trying to motivate the unmotivated. And what I mean is you have you'll have guys like they'll come into camp. I'm a linebacker coach. I'm a uh, I'm a receiver coach. I'm a tight end coach. Well,
Oh
you're a tight end. You're
Lord.
an O lineman too, buddy. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you that. You know, come get this block. Come work on this trap block real quick. This reset real quick, and let's get going. But trying to motivate the unmotivated because guys have they feel like their position they played in youth ball or where they playing currently is their position forever. I've seen a lot of youth kids play running back from 7 to 11 years old and 12 and 13 and 14, they turn into old linemen. It happens like that. And I think coaching guys like that is the most difficult part, but it's the most satisfying because once they understand that this is my position and I can be good at it, it's all downhill at that, like uphill at that point. You know, like it's all rolling. And I think personally that I've I've come across a lot of unmotivated guys, but a lot of guys they love how I coach. They know I'm sincere. They know I'm passionate. I can get into like a kid. We guys got done day 3 or 4 camp today, and I've been on this one kid for the last 2 days. Like I want everything perfect from steps, hands, all this. And he's still coming to me, dap me up, like, Coach, I appreciate you. Because I know you're genuine, I know you're passionate, and I know you really mean what's the best for me. And yeah, I know you're gonna make me great. And seeing kids make that transition, that change from being one position to loving old line play, that's a big thing for me, Coach.
Mm.
Mm,
Okay.
I
If I
know,
can
like
jump in.
I know coaching offensive line. The thing for me is, to try to get them to understand that you're a team within the team, and
Absolutely.
even in the play calling in the huddle, you have a play, like you have a play, like within that
Hmm.
play call, you have
Yes.
a play,
Come on.
right?
Yes, it's tough.
And
It's tough.
and so we have to execute our play in order for the whole offense to execute the play. So we have to execute our one play.
Okay. It looked like Coach said might have cut out. So Coach CJ,
Yes, sir.
just to add on to that, like Coach was just telling, just telling about how to just mentally just coach kids about seeing the unseen, visualizing what's not right in front of them,
Yep.
understanding that the success of a play starts and ends with the offensive line. So
Absolutely.
if our first step is slow, we're gonna lose that play. Right? You understand what I'm saying? If the snap is off, we're gonna lose that play. Right. So we are,
Agreed.
understanding
100%.
from the beginning and end, it starts with the offensive line. So I kind of wanna I asked Jabari this last week, and I kind of try to ask centers this question for kids that are playing center and coaches, offensive line coaches that are trying to teach the center position. What are some techniques that you teach to snap, whether traditional snap or dead ball flip snap? Like, how do you teach your kids, for anybody who's listening, who a young coach or a veteran coach that just want to teach his guys how to snap the ball?
Okay. That's easy. I love that question. First things first, I start with the feet in your stance. As a center, a lot of guys like having their center both feet facing forward, right? Um, in a lot of
Mhm.
cases, that's not fathomable. So I teach my centers both feet pointed out just slightly. Reason being, as a guard and tackle, if you're in your stance, guard and
Mhm.
tackle, your back foot is the one that's turned slightly a little bit. All
Yep.
right, in a
Ankle
spacious
leg.
stance. Yeah, that's giving us our base, our power, whatever, our
Mhm.
balance. Right. As a center, we don't have a foot back at all. We're even most times. A lot of guys are even
Mhm.
stance. I've seen some all the ones have a foot back. I don't know, hey, it is what it is. But we even base as a center, we gotta as O line period. We gotta be able to move in all directions, not just forward. So what I teach guys is if our feet are straight, we can only move but so many directions. We can't kick properly. We can't zone here that we need to. We can't get a good reach step out here or outside zone step without that angle already formed from our knee, forming that Z from the ankle to the knee
Mhm.
to
Yep.
the to our knees being inside our hips. That's big. Now when it comes to snap, matter of fact, I was working with a kid at my youth practice on snapping today. Never snapped before. Couple things. A lot of kids when they I got a ball right here. When a lot of kids snap, right? They love palming the ball super hard, like super hard, and you get no flexibility like that. I tell kids, you don't gotta palm it hard. If you ever play baseball and we throwing the ball, we not palming the ball super hard. So we want a little air in between our hand and the ball. So we just had that little touch. We had that touch, right? I tell guys, I used to snap all the time with my thumb above the laces. You can see that thumb above the laces, in between the white and the laces. I try to teach guys at the same time they try to get into it. They like putting their finger on the top of the top of the ball, which I try to get them out of it because that fingertip loves flowing it either way it wants to go. When we're snapping, whether it's dead ball or traditional, I said we have to snap our hands straight back. I say it sounds crazy, but your hand should be going straight up your butt crack in a sense. Like that's the path we want. Flicking our wrist straight back, and it's just reps. No one became a center in a day. It's reps.
Mhm.
If you never snapped before, go outside, back of your house, draw a white box on a fence, and just snap the ball to the fence. My dad used to set up a chair in the yard. He said you can come back in the house and you do 100 snaps. Simple as that. I mean, 100 snaps hitting the. I need 100 chair hits, not 100 snaps total. 100 chair hits total. So it takes longer just practice and reps and practice. But if we're doing dead ball, I a lot in high school. It's crazy, right? In junior year at St. Joe, Blake Henry, my head coach. I was just getting back in the center because I played guard my sophomore year, so he wanted to put me at center. And he had me dead balling, which I never did prior to like my junior year of high school. Never did. So he had me dead balling. At first it didn't work. So what she had me do secondly was dead ball with both hands. Like both hands on the ball type deal. Which was crazy to me at first. But no lie, I had one of the best seasons of my life my junior year of high school. And that was just a little like just having that control over the ball, knowing that snap was gonna get there, it made my confidence and ability way higher. Now as I got to college, I was
So how
really the
did you
traditional
so
snapper. Go ahead, coach.
so how did you get your hand placement
Coach.
dead
Hey,
snapping with both hands?
exactly, right? It's crazy, sound crazy. But you know, when I found out I was doing that two-hand snap, that same day after practice, you know what I did? Me and my pops went right to the field at Woodlawn High School, and we got 100 snaps in, 200 snaps in with our steps, with our hands, working pass pro and run block. It ain't happened overnight, coach. It did. And I can send you the link to my junior
Mm.
year film. You can see it. Both hand snaps. I can show you pictures of me doing it. Both hand snaps. But I'm both hand snapping, and I'm kicking from center picking up the DN all the way to the right. Like I'm going past center and guard and tackle, getting the DN. Like I was quick, I could move. So the snap didn't really make a difference to me. My feet, my dad taught me feet. Get your quickness going. Because you're a short guy. You gotta be a technician and you gotta be quick. Move your feet. That's what I was big on. So my junior year tape, that's one of my best years of football. My dad still listens to that tape at home when he's at home. Like, yeah, this kid right here was a beast. Like and it was a weird feeling at first, snapping with both hands and stuff. But I got used to it, and we had a pretty decent season. Junior. We were like 8-3 that year, something like that. One of the best
So
seasons St. Joe had before they became good again. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
this snapping coach, it's an art too, man. It's a different form of the art. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this segment we call is the canary in the coal mine. It's kind of equivalent to um, the elephant in the room, right? So
Okay.
we ask a question that you know most people won't ask or afraid to. So we're gonna
Cool.
be right back with that one.
Perfect.
So Coach CJ, what do you think about guys that jump from team to team, coaches? Uh, we gonna get the players too, but what do you think guys that go coaches that go from team to team, uh, just to coach these D1 type caliber guys and send these guys to the next level. so you can get your name out there. What do you think about those guys when them guys do that? Because me personally, I like to coach what's there. You know what I mean? I get a thrill out of like whatever I let me coach that guy and let me get it done. And the look on their eyes when they know that they can get it done. And we rushed for 120 yards that day with a win. That's the most satisfying thing that I can get out of my football prowess in the realm of coaching offensive line. So what do you think about that? Guys that
I
just
got
want
one.
to go for the name and just trying to coach these big time guys, these big time schools. What do you think about that?
I got one word for those type of coaches, man. And those coaches are soft. Um, I don't respect coaches like that. I never hopped around as a player. My dad was never that. Um, I didn't hop around. I'm not hopping around as a coach. Um, if you're just going from team to team, trying to coach this guy, this guy, this guy, and just forming all star teams at this point, in reality, coach, what coaching are you doing? Honestly,
Mm,
like it's easy.
mm,
It's easy to be the guy of I got 11 on offense, 11 on defense, and 8 of these guys are probably future D1 guys. It's easy to coach that. You know what's hard to coach? Little Jimmy over here, from Pasadena, who only played football for a year, and he's one of the only linemen I got out here. Listen, I got to transform him into a guy that's serviceable for the season. That's coaching. That's coaching. And I say it a lot because even like while I'm at Severn School, I'm really coaching. I don't get the best guys. Like the mix is so crazy. Like I have a mix of kids, and one of them kids can be a future Power Four kid in the future, and this other kid will never play football past high school again. But I got to find a way to reach both of these guys in the same practice. That's the beauty of coaching. Um,
mm,
and my dad never turned away an athlete. When he signed up, he signed up. Like he, no matter how many years he played. Now, my dad would say, "Man, this kid's new. We might have a problem. Have trouble getting him ready or whatever." But he never turned nobody away. And I take the same approach in my training. Like I would rather have the kid, honestly, coach, that only played a year or two, rather than this kid who's been learning bad habits from, excuse my language, half-ass coaches the last 8 years of his life. I don't want to
mm,
fix those bad habits. It's going to be too hard to fix. But I got little Johnny over here who only played 2 years, to seventh, eighth grade year. So now I can teach him everything I know for freshman year of high school to senior year of high school. And now he's my product now. You know, a lot of coaches get involved in claiming kids. Oh, this is my kid. This kid is that man. That's my kid. Coach, you only coached him for half a season. What are we talking about? It's not your kid. It's not your kid.
mm,
You just cross paths with them eventually in your life. You're just blessed enough for that, but it's not your kid. I never claimed kids. My dad never claims kids. My dad literally has a D tackle offensive guard that's in the Chargers camp right now. He coached for 5 years. That's his kid. He will never say that on social media though. He would never. My dad has a
mm,
kid named Curtis Jacobs that just got signed to
Hmm.
the Commanders from the UFL. That's my dad's kid, but he will never say that.
Hmm.
He will never say that. This is bigger than claiming people. It's bigger than that. It's building. Those guys made it to professional D1 levels from the coaching and the stuff my dad instilled when they were younger, and they carried that on to high school for their coach, whether it was McDonough or Spalding. But my dad put that influenced them to get there, and it's and my and I bring up my dad a lot because he's one of the role models that I've had growing up that I really looked at consistently. He didn't jump teams. My dad could have loaded his teams up in youth ball. When he was coaching my little brother at Brooklyn Park, they had kids like Karan Johnson and Logic and Jameer Carter and Curtis Jacobs on his team. He was running folks. And other kids from other teams, best players from other teams, like, Coach, I want to come play. And my dad would be like, well, do you want to play O-line? Because I got enough skills as it is. Like, if you ain't coming over here to block, I don't want you. That's what a lot of coaches lack. They try to make everybody happy. You can't make everybody happy. It's not that world we
mm,
live in. So send him back to his original team so he can be the man, or don't bring him to you. Like it is what it is. And also, real quick, for the parents that's allowing their kids to team hop from youth ball and high school like that, that's a problem as well. And I don't have no kids yet or anything, But when I am blessed to have a child one day, I will not. I don't care if you go 0-10. Like long if you're competing and learning and getting better, we'll keep playing. Unless we got a better opportunity somewhere to actually play and compete, and not just be a bandwagon somewhere. Cool, let's get it popping. But a lot of these players, parents, they just want to be bandwagon. Oh, this team is nice. Let's take my kid to Maryland Heat and watch him not play for 12 weeks straight.
That's
Come on,
not
what are
good,
we
man.
doing here? What are we doing? Let me take my
That's
kid to
not good.
DMVU and let him ride the pine for 8 weeks out of 9 weeks of the season. What is that developing? And what's worse about it, nothing about those programs at all, though. Those programs are fine, perfectly fine.
Yes.
Now, no, I love those programs. They're perfectly fine. But some coaches out here for these all-star teams, these stack squads, they're not coaching. They're doing you a disservice before you go to high school or before you go to college or whatever. And
Mm.
that's what youth ball is losing me at now. But yeah, I'm not into the team hopping, coach. I'm not a fan of that, man. And I feel like if
Yeah.
you choose a squad to go to, grind it out. Especially don't quit mid season because you're not getting the PT you want. That's soft. That's soft.
Coach Bernard, you got anything before Coach KB ends it up?
Good.
You sure? Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach KB.
Um, but yeah, just to add a little bit to that conversation, man, I just for coaches that jump teams, for players that jump teams, you guys are culture killers, right? We understand what they are. You lack authenticity, right? Integrity
Mm-hmm.
matters, not only in football but in life. This isn't like something I'm making up. It shows. Integrity matters. Working hard matters. Learning how to win, lose, work hard, work together, stick through, and get to a mission from a disadvantaged position to a more advantaged position. It all matters. What doesn't come out in the rinse comes out in the wash, as we all know in competition, right? So like all of those different things that you try to do to mitigate the trials of football or success or working hard, those things you try to jump that, you can't jump that. It
Yes,
ultimately
sir.
comes back. Um, so, just integrity matters, fellas. Like, authenticity matters. To be a great offensive line coach, you got to be genuine, right? Wherever I coach, wherever you coach, Coach CJ, wherever you coach said, you agreed to coach the offensive line or whatever that program was. You did not agree to coach one kid. I did not join this team to coach this offensive tackle or this center or the coach. I coached the old team. So each player, right? The true sign of a great offensive line coach, your line should be better at the end of the year than they were at the beginning. Every single person, even the guy that's riding the
100%.
bench,
hundred
right?
percent.
And which makes you even better of a great, offensive line coach, or even more great of an offensive line coach, is if each one of those men that you coach in the offensive line become great men off of the field, because that's what great offensive linemen make. They make unselfish men, men that work hard, men that love one another, right? Men that is unselfish, right? Men that has a hunger and a drive that is unmatched. That's what great offensive line coach. That's all I got, coach. I
Come
appreciate the
on.
opportunity. Coach CJ, I love you. Anything I can do to help? Severn School, what you got cooking there, coach? If you could just give me a couple minutes, just tell me what you got cooking at Severn once again. Appreciate the opportunity to interview you. Thanks again, Coach Sarah.
Real quick, what we got cooking at Severn, man. Like I said, thank you again, man. It's been a blessing on here to talk with you guys. I wish we could talk for 4 hours. I still got plenty to say. But Severn School, man. Like I said, I'm going in my fifth year. First 2 years, we were back-to-back C conference champs. After that, in the MIAA, they got rid of C conference, moved all the C conference teams up to B conference. That first year in B conference, we lost in the semifinals to Curly. All right. Last year, my fourth year. We had some key injuries from our seniors, so we season didn't go as best. I think we won like 4 or 5 games last year, no playoffs. But the games we lost by 3 points, by a touchdown, play here, injury there. You know how to say. You know how it goes.
Kirk the building
Um,
games, Kirk the building
yeah,
losses.
yeah, absolutely. Now this year, a lot of coaches in our conference are doubting us because they played against our main guys last 4 years who graduated last year who are now in college. But we don't lose people, coach. We just reload with a different clip. And we just keep
Yes, sir.
firing. We just reload with a different clip and I keep firing. I might have lost a senior left tackle last year, but I gained a true freshman left tackle who's one of the best in
Yeah,
the
for 4
state,
years.
who turned down Spalding, St. Francis, St. Mary's to come to us to get coached by me and Demetrius Ballard. I got guys
Mm,
like that. I got guys like
mm.
that. My right tackle is currently a rising junior. His first year playing football was his eighth grade year. He is now my starting. I've been training him ever since. He is now my starting tackle at starting right tackle. Started last year as a sophomore on varsity and had a great season. Now he in the weight room, really benching and lifting weight. He's about to have an even better season. You know, my left guard's a senior. He's the vet guy on my line. My center's a rising junior, I believe, a senior, rising senior as well. And my right guard is a rising sophomore who started JV for me last year. We're young, but we're
See,
cooking something, coach. I'm in
see,
the kitchen. I'm chefing it up. I ain't lying to you.
see. This is what I say, right? When coaches looking for coaches, and especially a new head coach when he gets the job, and you start seeking coaches to coach under him, the hardest coaches to find is the offensive line coach, right?
Come on,
And
let's
if you
talk.
can't
Let's
find an
hear it.
offensive line coach, right, you got to wind up probably doing it yourself. So they are the hardest to find, which leads me to believe that we probably want the best coaches probably on the staff, and I'm gonna be honest about it. So I want to appreciate you, man, for coming on, Coach CJ. This episode 10, man, and once again, Coach KB was adamant about having you on, and Coach KB is one of the best young offensive minds. So I got two of
Yes,
one of
he
the best
is.
offensive
Yes, he
minds,
is.
offensive line coaches on it, and they beating his door down to come back, and he's taking his time to do so, and I'll be glad when he come back so I can retire and just watch him because this is my last year right here, and I mean that. But glad to have you on, man, and we looking for Severn to do big things, man. Shout out to your dad. Tell him that we said hello and we love him, man. And any last things, Coach Bernard, before we
Mm, I'm good.
all right, so that's it. And hey, thanks for coming on, CJ. And I hope that anytime we ring you, man, you always willing to come back and talk ball with
Hey, anytime we can talk ball, coach, is a great day for me, baby. I ain't lying.
us. All right, thanks,
Come
Coach
on.
CJ. And this
Thank you,
episode
fellas,
10 of
man.
Talking Big Uglies, man. And we out. See y'all next Wednesday.